If you've got kids, you're probably familiar with the rotation of drinks and snacks between parents for game day. And what are those snacks and drinks composed of? Doesn't matter if it's chips, cookies, Cheez-Its, granola bars, gummy bears, sports drinks, or juice boxes. These all add up to nothing but sugar on a metabolic level. And this is the sad state of affairs across youth sports and a metabolic setup for problems later in life. I couldn't help myself, so I went down the proverbial rabbit hole to see how bad the situation is, and the journal publications only corroborated what I've been thinking and saying for years, about too much sugar and carbohydrates in the diet. Okay? And it's really bad when it comes to kids. 19.7% of children and adolescents are now categorized as obese. That's almost 20%. And essentially 1 in 5 kids are obese now, which doesn't take into account those who are simply overweight. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's not my kid because he or she, they're not overweight and they play sports. Think again. Here's something from a publication. The estimated number of youth aged 10 to 19 living with type 2 diabetes increased from 34 per 100,000 in 2001 to 67 per 100,000 in 2017. That's a 97% increase, and you don't have to be overweight or sedentary to develop diabetes. That same report also showed a 45% increase in type 1 diabetes for children 0 to 19. And get this, type 1 diabetes is more prevalent in white youth over minority youth. So this goes across the spectrum. Nobody's safe, right? With that being said, and as youth sports get underway, ask yourself this question: how am I fueling my child? The answer will probably shock you, and many of you mothers out there may feel like you have let your child down or even are doing them harm by giving them all these sugar-laden snacks to fuel their sport. Relax. First, it's not your fault, and second, your kid or kids will probably be just fine precisely because they're resilient and because you're here watching this video so you can make some positive change. The reasons why you're doing it this way, the conventional way of snacks and juice boxes and sports drinks, is manifold. And the problem is, these are items that are marketed as healthy snacks and even as heart-healthy foods and drinks when they are just sugar, plain and simple. And then you have the fact that 98% of sports nutrition advice currently available for youth sports is to consume a lot of sugar veiled as sports drinks, snacks, granola bars, pasta, rice, cereal, etc. A simple lookup online will tell you that 55 to 65% of a youth athlete's calories should be composed of carbohydrates. It doesn't matter whether your child is playing soccer, football, tennis, or running cross country. Fueling their sport with too much sugar is an eventual dead end. Because of the unseen metabolic shifts caused by feeding your child a lot of sugar, giving them that quick pick-me-up of a snack or sports drink at game time, it seems to work in the moment. But this is what I call the blood sugar roller coaster that you're getting them on. And we also look at this as a legal PED. Think about that. Now that you realize the expert conventional advice is wrong, you have to ask yourself the next question. What's a mother to do? Well, that's why you're here. I'm asking you these questions because it is critically important now to set your child up for success throughout life with the foundation of metabolic health. So there has to be a better way, and there is. The same principles of optimizing fat metabolism to tap into the limitless onboard energy that we all have apply to your child. This is the stuff we've developed. And for kids, the most convenient way to start is with Vespa Junior, a natural catalyst that'll jumpstart their limitless onboard energy. Listen in here on a conversation with Jeff Browning, an elite ultra runner at 50 who's still at the top of the sport, and how we discuss how his sons benefit in a variety of ways from using Vespa to tap into their limitless natural inner energy.
So one of the things, I have a very energetic 11-year-old boy who likes to run. We're in run club together. I also have a 19-year-old son who used to be a competitive USA climber, like bouldering and indoor rock lead climbing. And we started with Vespa Juniors on my 15-year-old son, who's now 19, when he was competing in USA climbing. And he noticed a difference, because one of the things with climbing, it takes a lot of concentration because it's blind. You're blind to the route. So you come out of isolation. You can't face the wall, and then you have 4 minutes to complete the route in bouldering. So they say, they buzz it. You turn around and you get a second to look at the route, and then you have to try to nail it. And he noticed a huge difference on Vespa versus just by himself, sipping on something else. And so he always would take one of those, and he got to the point where he was asking me, "Dad, I need a Vespa. I'm getting ready I need a Vespa," And so I went ahead and used that experience to use it on my son, who would have on and off days when we go to my younger son to go run at run club, because it depends on what he ate for lunch. Did he eat a good lunch? Did he kind of snack? And it was always at 4:00 in the afternoon when you have that crash in the afternoon, right? And so he would have little crashes, and he would just have a bad attitude, and he just wouldn't really be into the run club thing. And I'd be coaxing him, he'd take a lot of walk breaks, and I started just giving him a Vespa Junior. And before we head out, on the way, drive over to the run club, and he would be on every single time I give him a Vespa, without fail. There was never a time when and he's gotten to the point where he notices it. And so he's like, "Dad," it's automatic for him. Go get a Vespa Junior. We got to get a water bottle with some electrolytes, and we head to run club. And he drinks it on the way over, consumes it on the way over, 15 minutes before we get there, 20 minutes before we're going to run. And he's on. He is on. It's awesome to watch. And I've seen it, in both my boys in their respective sports, in two different sports.
The challenge of transforming your child's dietary choices is huge and cannot be tackled head on. This makes the beauty of using Vespa Junior to jumpstart your child's native physiology all the more compelling. Simply getting them off that blood sugar roller coaster of modern snack foods, juice boxes, and sports drinks, so prevalent in youth sports, will get them started towards making better choices. Remember, baby steps. We're not going to eliminate that stuff, but we're going to reduce that need so that they don't have to have so much. And by reducing their need for that sugar hit during exercise, they will then be primed to crave foods much higher in protein and fat after their games and practices, instead of another hit of sugar. Now, if you have any doubt about this, watch this clip of how my 6 and 8-year-olds do a fasted run hike at 10,000 feet elevation at the ancient bristlecone pine national monument. And they did this on a Vespa Ultra concentrate to each of them and a few pieces of candy. Realize children and adolescents are resilient. High sugar and high carb fueling does not seem to have the adverse effects that plague us in adult life. However, that doesn't mean the damage is not occurring. The very damage that eventually leads to health and performance challenges in adult life. Now, the great news is you are here. We are the pioneers and innovators in optimizing fat metabolism for performance and metabolic health. Through our development of programs, protocols, and products that have yielded winning results in the real world of competition and led to groundbreaking science and data to corroborate those experiences our VESPA athletes have, we can help you and your child attain higher health and peak performance. In order to support you and your child's health and performance, we've created a special offer. Order 2 boxes of VESPA Junior and get a third one free. With a money-back satisfaction guarantee, you'll have enough VESPA for games and key practices or for the whole team for a tournament or championship competition. Or if you're not quite ready for 3 12-packs, you can get a single 12-pack and use the first time, one-time coupon code of FIRST TIME for a first-time, one-time discount of 20%. And finally, if you want more personalized guidance on giving your child the best fueling, check out our metabolic testing data on the VESPA site, then take a peek at the real-world success of athletes of all ages and abilities and how they are using and enjoying VESPA as part of their goal in attaining higher health and peak performance in every aspect of life.